Steve, I've done, I can't even imagine how many games I've done. Well over 60.
Yeah.
And that's not even counting our basketball streams. And I have never had the issues that I am having today. So for all of you out there, please accept my sincerest apologies. I've tried literally everything I possibly can. I'm hoping that this is going to work. Here we are, Knights lead 4-2 in the third inning. And again, we're hoping that we can be here with you the rest of the evening. And again, please accept my sincerest apologies out there in YouTube land. If you've ever had any issues before with electronics, you know what I'm talking about, especially when you try every single thing you possibly can do to get it to work and it still doesn't want to work.
And I can certainly vouch for that. You have been trying everything for the last half hour to try to solve these problems.
And again, hope that we are in good shape. That being said, if you want to catch back up on what has been going on, of course, you can always go over to centralpennknights.com and check out the box score. And we are going to hopefully take you the rest of the way as the runner goes, and he will take second base. We're here with 2 outs in the top of the third inning. Again, Knights lead 4-2. Now, they had 4 runs on 2 hits, whereas Williamson Trade 2 runs on 5 hits. But those 2 errors, Steve, really are making the difference.
Yeah, especially one last inning when they scored those 2 runs. They had a tailor-made double play ball that would have gotten Williamson Trade out of the inning. And he stepped on second base and threw the ball errantly to first, which led to a couple runs for the Knights.
Zell with a fantastic play. McCoy lost it, but that Zell made the running catch. I mean, it was a lazy pop fly, but it was just literally in that hole where no one is. And so the Knights nonetheless get out of this inning. Again, just in full transparency here, the system that we use does run off of Wi-Fi and cell, and we have had fine cell reception today, but for whatever reason, our cameras just were not cooperating. So, again, it seems that things are okay at this point. So again, please accept our apologies, and we'll try to take you the rest of the way. That's fine. Who cares? Back here with you. Miller and Steve Hassinger, bottom of the third inning. It's 4-2. Knights lead at FNB Field.
Joseph leading off for the Knights here.
You know, it's funny, Steve. Maybe this is a sign. Of course, we went to centralpennknights.com earlier today to try to prepare for today's game, and the website was down. So maybe that was just an indication of how today was going to turn out. Fortunately, we did get the website going, and it still is going right now. Again, you can go check out the box score. Just click on schedule, scroll down to this game, and you'll see a button that says live stats. Find out what's been happening.
Technology is great when it's working.
Tanner Boyd with an RBI, as did Nick Joseph. Actually, says 2 RBIs, but only 1 listed. So I believe that was because it was a walk.
Well, another run scored on the air. Yeah.
outside to McCoy. Oh, he got the strike call. McCoy actually down on strikes looking back in the first inning.
Yeah, and he didn't particularly care for that call in the first inning, and he didn't particularly care for this call here.
Downstairs, runs the count to 3-1. And you'll have to wonder after, now of course it's 3-1, it's not 3-2, but you have to wonder if, in what situation McCoy is thinking here, because, you know, he might be a little more aggressive than he might otherwise be.
Yeah, anything that's close, I think he's probably going to be swinging.
There's a shot, but way up in the air. Now, hard to see. The wind obviously had a factor with that, because that looked like I was going to go a little more deep, but the wind just knocked it down. And Steve, to your point, you can see those flags out there. We're getting a massive gust of wind right now.
They are stiff, standing straight out in center field and blowing straight out.
Number 31, Gabe Hoffman.
Two quick outs here. The Knights have had base runners in both innings and scored 2 runs in both innings. Let's see if Gabe can get something started here in the third.
One 0 for Kaufman. That's going to be high. Knights come into this game at 17-8. They did win 22 games last year, so with only a small handful of games left, they'd have to catch fire, but it's certainly possible. They have 2 today, 2 Friday against Bucks County at 1 and 3 o'clock, 1 at Manor College, 2 against Clarion, and 1 to end the season on April 30th versus Penn State Fayette. 8 games, Steve. So if they could win 5 of those, they could tie their mark from last year, an all-time record in victories for the baseball team.
Yeah, and I think if they could finish strong and win the three-peat for the ESAC championship, still have hopes and dreams of the Small College World Series this year.
And you know what's interesting, Steve, is I was talking with the guys yesterday. We did a hot dog sale, which was, I appreciate your and everybody out there in YouTube land support if you did so. I got to learn a little bit more about the bid process for that, and it's often through the coaches poll. So the coaches are the ones that are really deciding who's going to the Small College World Series. Felt like we got snubbed last year. ESAC championship, most wins in school history, still couldn't make the Small College World Series. But I was talking to Tanner McCoy yesterday, and he made a comment that they have actually played very well against schools in the top 10. He quoted a 5-2 mark of those schools, against those schools, I should say. And so it'll be interesting to see if the Knights get on a little run here, cash their ticket to the ESAC championship game, and win that. If it could happen.
I definitely think it's a possibility this year. I know that I was talking to Casey Hicks, athletic director, yesterday. She mentioned that they are 7th in one poll, and that the top 10 go to the Small College World Series.
4-2 here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Again, our apologies for thus far, but since with the reincarnation, it's actually looked just fine. So we shall see. 3 balls, 1 strike to Kyle Brent with a runner on second base and 2 outs. Base hit could bring that runner in. An out would end the inning. Oh, upstairs, that'll walk him.
Now 2 on with 2 outs. Yeah.
All right. 2 runners on base.
At bat number 28, Brady Park.
And they're going to go out and check on Martini here. He has not been really close to the plate. Well, Even through all of this, we appreciate our sponsors at Weis Markets. Are you hungry and are you in a hurry and can't figure out what to have for dinner? Stop by your local Weis Markets where we offer quick, easy, and convenient meals for you and your family. Pick up a bucket of chicken or check out our Friday pizza deals. For every 5 pizzas you purchase, you'll get a 6th pizza for free. This includes both cheese and 1-topping pizzas. Visit weismarkets.com/deli for more information.
I think you just made me kind of hungry there, Paul. And the Knights are hungry for some more runs here and looking for a key 2-out hit.
And Brady Park would love on senior night to contribute to the team. Brady, one of the nicest guys, I'll tell you. We have a team full of nice guys, I should say, but Brady is just so cool. Get to talk baseball with him. Very, very knowledgeable about the sport. Big Pirates fan. I apologize to him for that, honestly.
I did not realize he was a Pirates fan, but he is a great guy. Currently in the internship search process, and he's had some interviews set up, I think. So hopefully he'll be landing that internship real soon.
Thanks to you.
Well, thanks to Kristen Fike in my office.
Steve, you can't act like you have nothing to do with this. I mean... And he's caught looking, and 3 strikes after they came to the mound to check on Martini. Will retire the side, but the Knights, as we go to the top of the 4th inning, lead 4-2.
The Nightly News Media Club at Central Penn College is looking for new members. Members have the opportunity to get hands-on experiences writing for our student publication, The Nightly News, being a part of the Nightly News podcast, and being a part of our sports live stream broadcast when it works. Email club advisor Paul Miller at centralpenn.edu.
But the irony is, Steve, it always
does
work,
yes.
except for earlier today. But we're working now, so don't jinx it.
Okay.
Because if it stops working, I'm blaming you. Back here with you, Paul Miller, Steve Hassinger. As we go to the top of the 4th inning, Knights at bottom of the 3rd were threatening. They did push 2 across in both of the first 2 innings. But held off the scoreboard there. Zerby, I'll tell you, maybe not his sharpest game of the season, but he battles. It's pretty incredible how much poise he has on the mound, even when he doesn't always have his best stuff. We've seen 2 of his best starts in his career, though,
Yes.
so far this season.
Yeah.
So, yes, 2 runs and on 5 hits is not one of his best, but he's still most certainly keeping us in the game here. And he struck him out.
Good pitch there. Nice high fastball.
Number 3, Shane McLaughlin.
McLaughlin just hitting 176 coming into the game, but his on-base percentage, 391.
It looked a little low, but we'll take it. No balls and one strike with one out here in the top of the fourth inning. Knights lead 4-2. And that wind is really whipping around here. And blowing dead center field is where that wind is blowing. So if you get it up there.
Yeah, we've seen some hard hit balls, but nothing real high. Most of them have been line drives. So it'll be interesting to see if there's a high fly ball to the outfield, how that.
I don't know.
I didn't get a chance to say.
Two down, runner on second here for the Knights as Patrick Jones steps in for Williamson Trade. And there's a shot to center, and that's gonna, and unfortunately the gentleman is running, looked like he hurt himself here. And that was a terrible situation, Steve. That ball got down, and that could have been a run. He seems to be okay. He's at least walking off of the field under his own power.
Yeah, really unfortunate because with two outs there, obviously he's going on anything, and he would have scored easily, but he's kind of grabbing at his right leg now.
Yeah, and what more can you say other than that could and should have been a run for Williamson, but gosh, I don't know if his spike got caught in the dirt out there or what happened, but he went down immediately.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe a hamstring or something. Hard to speculate.
We'll be right back. Back here with you, Terrell Smith-Cole will step in. Takes the first pitch for a ball. Smith-Cole, fantastic defender. Only hitting 172 on the season, 14 strikeouts, no home runs, 5 RBI. Does have 12 runs. But his glove definitely plays. 4-2, bottom of the fourth. Flashes that bat out there, but that's going to go out of play down to the first base bleachers. One ball and 2 strikes. Straight back. Still 1-2. Inside. Oh, he struck him out. And Zell with that steal of second base, but now Boyd faced with a 3-2 count. One down here in the the bottom of the fourth inning. Again, I can't stress this enough. We sincerely apologize about the technical difficulties as Boyd pops that out of play. And nearly comes right back to us.
Central Penn would definitely like to add a couple runs to this 2-run lead here. Both teams have been scoreless now for the last 2 innings.
He struck him out. Another good pitch there from Martini. And now David Thomas. 2 down, though, here in the bottom half of the 4th.
Number 34, David Thomas.
Off the plate for a ball. Though, Steve, I must say that there was a very borderline strikeout call here in the last half inning. Wide strike zone, it seems, for the umpire today.
Yeah, you got to be up there swinging. Thomas is swinging. Fouls it straight back. Was on that pitch, but fouled it straight back. Thomas, the leading hitter for Central Penn, so he's the guy you want up there with that runner in scoring position right now.
And that ball gets away. And Zell is going to get into third base.
And now he wants to be careful, obviously, with Thomas, but now with the run at third base, get another one in the dirt, and it's a run for the Knights.
Absolutely. 2 balls and 1 strike with 2 down to Thomas. With Zell now on third base. That's high. Almost takes his head off. The 3-1. Ooh, the low call. Just a very big strike zone here for the umpire today. Brings the count full. There's a shot down the third base line, and that will be an RBI for Thomas.
Yeah, that pitch low and in, and he just went down there and drove it right down the third base line.
Umpire not pleased with the Knights dugout. He warned them already. I'm not really sure what is the recourse for that. I mean, I suppose you could eject players, but if it's the whole team, I mean... Oh, almost takes his head off, but goes right to the second baseman, who makes a solid play, and that will end the inning. But gosh, Martini's lucky to have gotten out of that with all his appendages.
Yeah, that ball was hit really, really hard. Central Penn College Student Government Association is a voice for all students, those living on campus, those studying online, and those returning to continue their education. SGA is here to make your time at Central Penn College the best experience possible. You can contact SGA with any questions, comments, or concerns by emailing sga@centralpenn.edu.
I didn't take the safety course.
Back here with you, Paul Miller, Steve Hassinger. The top of the 5th inning. 5-2. Knights lead on an David Thomas RBI, knocking in Owen Zell. Again, our numerous apologies to those out there in YouTube land for our technical difficulties. We are trying to keep the stream active, but it is a challenge today.
Williamson Trade out hitting the Knights 7-3, but Williamson Trade with 3 errors and the Knights with none. That's really been the difference.
And as that sun goes down behind the stadium, the clouds roll in, and that wind continues to pick up. It continues to get chilly out here, but it doesn't seem to be bothering the players.
No, but I did put another layer on between innings there.
I don't have any more to put on.
Yeah, this is my last one.
I'm fresh out of layers here. The pitch. That's going to be a tough play. The Brent makes it look routine. I mean, the only reason that was a tough play is because there was 3 people converging on that ball.
Well, and that wind, although it did seem to die down a little bit there.
At bat number 2, Zachary Lanslow.
And Ladislaw steps in. Quickly 2 down for Zerby. There's a shot to center field, and that will get down in front of Joseph.
At bat number
8th hit for Williamson Trade, but as you mentioned, Paul, Zerby's done a good job of pitching out of trouble today.
He's had base runners in every inning, I believe, but has managed to pitch around it. See, and there's a pitch that 2 times now we've seen called a strike, called a ball.
Yeah. A little bit low.
And there's another pitch that had been called a strike previously that Colton didn't get the call on. And you can see he was a little frustrated by that second one. Maybe the first pitch was a little low, but that pitch I've seen called twice today. And there goes the runner. Park with a good throw. Park thought he had him.
Yeah, it was a good throw. He just couldn't field it cleanly. And we've seen Smith Cole make some really good plays at shortstop this year.
Absolutely. The 3-0 here. Does catch the outside corner. Another tough play with that wind, but Joseph comes up with it, and that retires the side. Another one left on base for Williamson, and the Knights lead 5-2.
Freshness matters, especially in produce. Weis Markets knows the importance of fresh produce. We take the time to hand stack our produce instead of selling it from the box to ensure every item is great quality and guaranteed fresh for our customers. Visit weismarkets.com/produce for more information.
Back here with you. We are here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Knights lead 5-2 as Tanner McCoy steps in. McCoy, as we mentioned earlier, 3rd on the team in RBI.
Tanner's seen a lot of pitches in his at-bats today. Hasn't always been happy with the calls.
Well, Steve, if you recall the last time that we called a game, Tanner was hit 4 times across 2 doubleheader games.
That's right.
Had to be. We don't know that it's a Central Penn record, but it almost has to be, right? Oh, big cut on the slider.
So we were back in the 70s and Don Baylor was stepping in or something. Getting hit all the time.
McCoy faces a 1-ball, 2-strike count. As the Knights are up 5-2, way outside on that one. Upstairs for a ball.
Another full count.
And he walks him, which is, I'm sure, much welcomed from McCoy after getting called out on strikes back in the 1st.
At bat number 31, Gabe Kaufman.
So we got that leadoff runner on for Kaufman. See if the Knights can tack on a run or two here.
Knights lead, nobody out for Kaufman. And Kaufman has had a fantastic campaign in 304 on a season 4. Home runs, 27 RBI, 14 walks, Steve, for a 424 on base. Also, the 4th on the team with 21 total hits.
Yeah, he's been solid and very consistent throughout the entire season so far.
Gosh, I don't mean to cut you off, but man, just looking at David Thomas's numbers on paper are just eye-popping in terms of the average and on-base percentage.
Yeah, they really are. He's had a great year.
There's a shot to center. Great piece of hitting there. McCoy does hold. I mean, that's definitely the right call. Didn't get to the gap, so he'll move up a base for Kyle Brent. Brent certainly has a shot at Rookie of the Year. Of course, at the end of the season, the Nightly News, we will announce their the best players, of course, the MVP, the Gold Glove, the Rookie of the Year, and we've also had the Shohei Ohtani Award, the best hitter/pitcher. Although that one might be a little tough this season because Coach Stevens really has his pitchers and his batters. Good bunt there by Brent. Perfect bunt.
And nobody at first.
And McCoy. And here comes Kaufman. What a play.
Yeah, perfect bunt there by Brent. Just a great job laying it down, and first baseman was coming in. The pitcher didn't realize that when he turned him through, and even if the first baseman had been there, it would have been way over his head.
You know, I wonder if he tried to stop himself, and that's why he airmailed that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it probably is because the throw was really, really high. So a couple big insurance runs there for the Knights.
No question. I mean, it was such a good bunt that everyone went after it, and that's just a coaching, and again, not begrudging Williamson, but that's just a coaching thing. Like, those are the types of things you go over in practice. If this happens, who is going to cover the base? Frankly, Steve, I'm assuming that the pitcher should have covered first base there.
Well, or the second baseman, perhaps. But you had runners at first and second, so.
I don't know if Park stepped out of the box there and the umpire took issue with it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there either.
I heard him say they were taking off a pitching conference. Maybe he stepped out of the box, and I'm not sure exactly.
Well, he's definitely called a ball, make it 1-0.
And low for Park. And wouldn't you love to see Park hit one in the outfield and drive in a run here?
Yeah, it would be a nice touch on senior night here for Brady.
And he comes up empty. He was going for it.
Yeah, good cut at that. Just didn't come up with any contact. 2-1 now. Still a good hitter's count. Well, ball was out of the zone, but the umpire said that he offered at it.
No, he was asking, he was appealing to this umpire to see if he swung, and he didn't, so it was a 3-1 count. It did sound like that's what he said.
He must have said, did he offer?
Oh, and that hit him right in the back.
Yeah.
Brent was going, too, so if anything, that might have actually hurt Central Penn there, because that was going to be a ball no matter what, but Brent was already halfway down to third base. If he was going, that might have lost a base there. Park comes out for Will Baker. Will Baker is one of the pitchers on the Central Penn squad, but again, in the USCAA, when a pitcher or catcher reaches base, they can be pinch run for with no penalty, meaning that Park can remain in this contest. We're going to take a short break while Williamson figures out what the pitching situation is going to be here in the bottom of the Smith Cole steps in as the Knights lead 7-2. Aiden McHugh on for Williamson Trade. 18 innings pitched, 17 earned runs, but does have 25 strikeouts in 18 innings. So even though the high ERA and WHIP does have some swing and miss stuff here for McHugh for Williamson. And Smith Cole, another bunt. And almost no one at first, but they did get the second baseman over to cover. And Smith Cole has a fantastic bunt there. So back-to-back bunts for the Knights pay dividends.
Yeah, with the hit by pitch in between there, but that one wasn't quite as good as Brent's bunt, but got the job done. Second and third now with only one out.
And now Zell has a fantastic opportunity. The infield plays in, and trust me, if they knew anything about Owen Zell, they would not be playing this depth. They are trying to hedge off the run, but Zell, unless he hits it right at somebody, he's going to be in for at least one RBI here. And exactly what I was talking about. Here comes one. Brent scores. Baker scores. Zell to second. Again, just defensive lapses here, Steve.
That was perfectly placed right between the first baseman and the second baseman.
But given Zell's second base on that play, should have I mean, there was no way that Williamson was going to get the runner at
should have come
home.
in the second, yeah.
So there's two defensive lapses this inning that cost significantly, as now 4 runs have crossed the plate for the Knights. And there's a good pitch from McHugh there.
Zell, of course, leads the Knights in stolen bases, so it'll be interesting to see if he takes off here. He had 18 stolen bases coming into the game.
At 9-2, why not? Especially with the way Zerby's pitching. There he goes. And a hit and run was on, but now Zell has to hurry back to second. He just makes it. I mean, gosh, you couldn't have asked it to be any closer than that, but fortunately Zell does get in there.
He had to put
safely.
the brakes on going to third, and he ended up in the dirt there, but got up and scampered back there just in time. Yeah, he's got to put that shoe back on.
Every time something like that happens, all I can think about is Austin Powers.
At bat number 34, David Thomas.
Fortunately, he didn't throw a shoe at anyone. He just came out of the shoe. Thomas has had a fantastic afternoon. And that slider gets across for McHugh. 9-2 as the temperature wavers back and forth between 49 and 50.
It doesn't exactly feel like that.
No. Eerily similar to opening day here at the Senators. As Thomas flies out. And the Knights, though, with a couple of bunts, throw 4 on the board here in the bottom of the 5th and take a 9-2 lead against Williamson Trade.
Weis Markets proudly supports our military. As a thank you for our appreciation, Weis Markets offers a 10% discount on participating Weis brand products every Thursday to all active duty, reserve, retired, and military veterans. Thank you for your service. See the store for more details.
Speaking of the military, our favorite military nightly news member will be joining us on the second game of this broadcast. We are again going to do everything we can to make sure that this broadcast continues. Again, we are eternally apologetic for the issues that we've had here today, and we hope that those issues have been resolved. We appreciate all of you out there who have stuck with us. And again, if there was anything in our power we possibly could do to fix this, we would. But with that being said, Colton Zerby goes back out there. And we are looking forward to getting to hear from Parker Rose, Nightly News Hall of Famer. And you know what's interesting too, Steve? I think with all of the work that you've done with the broadcast over the years, you could be in line for a potential Hall of Fame spot in the future.
Oh, I don't think I'm worthy of that, but just to be considered is certainly an honor. But Parker's done some great things. I'm looking forward to getting to work with him hopefully a little bit here on Game 2. And yes, I was reading that about military discount, and Parker's was the first name that came to mind.
Well, we'll have to tell Parker to make sure to go to Weis on Thursdays for his 10% discount. Zerby has looked really good today. First pitch swinging.
Brady gave that everything he had, but it was back about 4 rows in the seats.
At bat number 10, Ramon Sanchez.
Zerby the 0-1. Gets that strike call.
And Colton's done a good job of getting ahead of the hitters now the last couple innings.
Yeah, he was pitching from behind a lot earlier today. And there's right back up the box, unfortunately. Oh, Smith Cole comes up with it. What a play.
What a play. What a play. And we were saying earlier, Paul, we've seen him make some really nice plays at shortstop this year. And, boy, that was about as good as it gets right there.
I was going to say that's most certainly got to be up there.
I mean, he did a good job just fielding the ball, and then his momentum is carrying him towards center field, and he's got to throw back across his body to make that throw to first. And good, strong throw to get the runner.
And Zerby.
Number 22, Michael Ashton.
Ashton steps in for Williamson. And Zerby, that's going to be a really tough play. No one can get to it. And a base hit. That's base hit number 9.
Yeah, that ball wasn't hit hard, but it was placed just perfectly. Looks like we're going to have a pitching change here.
Kind of odd. It's like number 99 Garcia will be in. Anthony Garcia from Harrisburg, PA. We're going to take a short break while the pitching change happens.
All right, we're back at you, and Anthony Garcia is the new pitcher for the Knights. Garcia appearing in his 7th game. He's pitched 7 innings so far this year with an ERA of 5.14, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks, and 11 hits allowed. McLaughlin steps in for Williamson Trade. And that first pitch is going to be way outside. Wild pitch that lets the runner go to second. Not the way Garcia wanted to start. Hopefully he can settle in here, find the strike zone. Two and 0. On McLaughlin. Runner at second and 1 out. Low and outside, 3-0 count. McLaughlin might take a pitch here, being down 7 runs. Williamson needs base runners. And he does take all the way, and Garcia finds the strike zone for the first time, so it's 3-1. A little bit low. So he walks him on 5 pitches. Runners at first and second now with 1 out. Daniel Gross will be the batter.
At bat number 20, Daniel Gross.
Gross, a freshman for Williamson Trade. And Garcia starts him out with a strike. Runners going, and Brady Park didn't really have a pitch that he could throw on there. It was a little bit outside, hard to handle. So second and third now with 1 out. Let's see if Gross can drive them in. Two and 1 now. Garcia needs to dial in the strike zone here.
And Steve, if you recall, the last time that Zerby pitched, something similar happened here where they brought in a reliever and made the game much more interesting than it needed.
Yeah.
Of course, the Knights do have several games coming up in the next week. And there's a shot to left, and that's going to get down, and that'll only score 1 because they did have to hold. And that'll make it 9-3.
At bat number 0, Patrick Jones.
Oh, we didn't really mention this, but we have a new first baseman for the Knights as well. Nick Walters out there at first.
He's another gentleman I have in class this term. I have Cam Smiley, I have Walters, and I have David Thomas. Those are 3 I've never had in class before. I also still have Owen. Owen has been in several classes of mine. He's a communication minor, comm media minor. And this is going to be another tough play through the gap, but Zell does keep it in front of him. Can't make the play, but that was a heck of an effort.
It was a good job to knock it down because he at least keeps that other runner at second base. But now it's a 9-4 game.
At bat number 17, Josh Illing.
And Illing is not the guy that you want up to bat right now. With 4 homers and 22 RBIs, a .413 average and a .524 on base for an unbelievable 18 OPS. So again, with only 1 down here and 2 on, this could get interesting in a hurry for the Knights.
Yeah, fortunately the Knights put that 4 spot on the board last inning, or it would be a 1-run game at this point.
And exactly the play that you want. Brent holds it, and as well he should have, gets the lead runner, and 2 down here. And that was as big of an out as you could possibly have with Illing at the plate.
Yeah, and a good job by Brent to just hold that and not try to make that throw. You could end up with second and third here. Ball wasn't hit sharply enough to give him a real good chance at the double play. But he did get the lead runner, which was what was important.
That almost snuck inside the first baseline. Just foul.
Garcia throwing strikes now after struggling a little bit initially. Of course, I jinxed him.
He definitely has some velocity. No question about that. The 1-1. Did get the foul tip there. Makes it 1-2.
So ahead of him, the ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs here. Hopefully he can put this batter away, and the Knights will have a 5-run lead with 1 inning to go. And maybe they'll even add to it in the bottom of the 6th.
Runners go. Pops that up. It's coming back at us. Out of play. Stays 1-2. In fairness to Illing, Grande's got equally as impressive numbers. 3 homers, 23 RBIs, a 452, 507, 758 average on base and slug, giving him an OPS of 1265.
Yeah, leads the team in doubles and RBIs, and second on the team in home runs with 3.
So, and that's something that we talked about earlier in the show today, is that Williamson offensively has some amazing players. And Garcia probably had the guy at second picked off there, but decided to come home with it because
it looked like
second was halfway down to third.
Yeah, he definitely was going to take off for third.
Well, they both run on the last 2 pitches, so, and he had him. But Smith Cole wasn't near the base. They're calling a pitch clock violation on the pickoff attempt. I'm not really sure how that was a pitch clock violation. Neither is Coach Stevens. Coach Stevens trying to find out what that call was, and Brady Park was beside himself after that call.
I thought initially he was calling a balk, but no, you're right. He called it a ball.
And as reserved as Brady Park usually is, I've seen him as animated as ever in all of the years I've gotten to call him as a Knight. I still am confused as to what happened. I understand they called it a ball. I understand they called it a pitch clock violation. But he didn't come to the plate. I've never seen a call like that.
No, he was trying to pick the runner off, and he realized as he did that the shortstop wasn't over at second base.
And there is a shot to center, but Joseph there to collect it. So all's well that ends well. And that will do it for the top half of the 6th inning. It is still 9-4 Knights. And Williamson Trade only down to their final 3 outs here as the Knights. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 9-4.
The Central Penn College app was designed with students in mind. The app brings the school to your fingertips and enables you to connect with the Central Penn community. Stay on top of your events, classes, and assignments with the built-in calendar function, and get notified of important dates, deadlines, and security announcements. Make friends, ask questions, and access campus resources at any time. Search Central Penn College in the App Store.
And we will be right back with the bottom of the 6th inning here at FNB. Back here with you at FNB Field, Paul Miller, Steve Hassinger. As we go to the bottom of the sixth, Knights have a relatively comfortable 9-4 lead as McHugh way upstairs to Nick Joseph, leading the team in home runs with 5 on the season, 24 RBIs. Gives that one a little ride, but foul.
Just missed his third base coach there.
And there's a slider, and he grinds it out down first base and out nonetheless. Bring up Nick Walter. 2 hits on 8 at-bats on the season. Listed as a pitcher and first baseman.
Playing in his 8th game today.
Walter has pitched 2/3 of an inning on the season. And there's a good shot. Nice base hit for Walter. And he's got a lot of crowd support here from Newville Big Spring High School. I'm familiar, just the next town down from Carlisle, where yours truly is from. Some good golf down in the Newville area, Steve.
Yeah, I've never played golf down there.
Eagles Crossing and Cumberland, while not Newville, are close. More plain field area than Newville, but certainly in the vicinity. I don't know that there's any golf courses in Newville proper, but certainly those who live in Newville probably play Eagles Crossing and Cumberland quite frequently.
I was on an advisory council at Big Spring School District for a couple of years.
And that's going to get away. And Walter will get second and put him into scoring position.
Walter, not the most fleet of foot, but he didn't need to be there because that ball went all the way to the backstop. Now he's in scoring position with just 1 out for Kaufman.
Kaufman's had a tremendous year, too. I mean, again, just looking around, Thomas, Joseph, and Kaufman, the outfielders today for the Knights, are really the offensive firepower for Central Penn as Kaufman takes the first strike. McCoy, again, 23 RBI, 1 home run, and he's hitting .351 as well. And then, of course, we can't take anything away from Mr. Owen Zell, hitting .341 with 18 steals and a .455 on base percentage. So some pretty eye-popping numbers here for Central Penn on the season.
Yeah, and Kaufman's come up with some big hits throughout the year. 27 RBIs, leading the team.
Walks him on 5 pitches. So McHugh needs to keep this game right where it is if Williamson Trade wants any chance.
At bat number 42, Kyle Brent.
And Brent steps in, 1 home run, 11 RBIs on .333 batting average and a .474 on base percentage. It's impressive how many people on this team have a +400 on base percentage. At least 6 or 7 of the starting lineup today over 400 on base.
Yeah, we've had a lot of base runners.
That's going to get away, and Walter, and that throw goes into left field. And he was breaking for home, but he thought better. It didn't get too far away from the third baseman. I don't know. Walter, the catcher didn't even realize that Walter was running and kind of double clutched it before he threw it.
Yeah, he got a little tangled up down there at the bag and couldn't get up fast enough there to try to score.
And another meeting of the minds out at the mound. I'm assuming they're just talking about defensive alignment here because the coach is not out there. I don't know if maybe that ball caught the umpire.
Might have. Second and third now with 1 out. 1-1 on Kyle Brent. Brent wearing number 42. The only person on the Central Penn team today wearing number 42, but if you watched any Major League Baseball yesterday, you may have seen everybody on the team wearing number 42 in honor of Jackie Robinson Day.
Pops it way up. This is going to be a tough play with this wind. Oh, and he can't come up with it. And Walter had an easy run there, and the third base coach was not happy that Walter didn't break for home.
Well, you called it. That's a tough play with that wind, and I think looked like he looked away from it just as he was catching the ball in case the runner was breaking for home on a sacrifice fly. And now Brady's up there with the bases loaded. And again, you know he'd love to come through here on senior night with a big hit.
One ball, one strike from McHugh. And he gets that call on strike two. The 1-2 pitch. High and tight. Runs again to 2-2. And the Knights tack on another run. High again. Gonna bring it full, and McHugh has to locate this pitch, or else it's gonna be another run across for the Knights. And low, and Brady will get the RBI.
Yep. Forced the run in.
Park will come off. Baker will go to first for the pinch run situation. And you know, we talked earlier about Smith Cole, but Steve, here is a perfect opportunity for Smith Cole to get something going.
Showing bunt, but taking all the way there.
Smith Cole the sacrifice last time.
Tough guy to double up, too, if he hits the ball on the ground.
And McHugh has just lost the strike zone. And I'll tell you much more, and this game could be over. Not sure what the Knights will do in the 7th on the mound. And there's a slider that crosses the strike zone, runs the count to 2-1. Well, we've made it, knock on wood. Several innings without any streaming issues again. Our utmost apologies for any streaming issues that we had today. Very fickle piece of equipment. High and tight. Walks in another run. Who's going to bring up Owen Zell again in his own right on senior night.
Yeah, and another tough guy to double up. So, again, only one out and the bases loaded here. Central Penn can tack on a few more.
Now, what you're seeing here this time on the defensive alignment is first and third basemen are coming in, but up the middle are playing normal depth. And this was the point I was trying to make last time, is that the way Owen plays, it is really tough because he hits the ball very hard on the ground. So to play in, and speaking of which, this one's going to be another tough one, and that's going to get down. One run will score. They had to hold up to see if that ball was going to be caught, but Zell drives in a run.
Yeah, just as you said, he hits the ball hard on the ground. He lines one down the right field line in the air. And just fair by a couple of feet there.
Number 6, Tanner Boyd.
And now the Knights lead 12-4. McHugh has really struggled to find the plate in this inning. Inside, runs against the 1-1. Again, want to thank the Harrisburg Senators. Their season just started last week.
Good curveball there to get strike two.
You can always go to senatorsbaseball.com to check out when they'll be back in town. I believe they'll be back in town next week, and hopefully the temperatures will be north of 50. And there's a shot just foul. That could have cleared the bases for Boyd. But alas.
Yeah, just about a foot foul down the right field line there.
Certainly a team effort here for the Knights today. Zerby pitched fantastically, only allowing 2 earned runs in his 5+ innings.
A lot of speed on the bases now, so anything in the gap could score 3.
The seniors have all chipped in tonight. Oh, almost took his head off there.
Right over his head.
Runs the count full. Inside again, walks him. And I'm sorry, at this point, Steve, you got to get this pitcher out of here. He's walked in 3 runs with the bases loaded.
Yeah, the game is kind of out of reach now, but yeah, you would think with 1 out here.
And unless they're sort of conceding the 10-run rule here, because with 1 more, that could technically be, I wouldn't call it a walk-off necessarily, but for all intents and purposes, it is. I think that would be welcome here to the crowd, as it's about 20 after 6 and we still have another game to go.
This is the one time during the season when the Knights do play under the lights.
Wish it was a little warmer. The last 2 years have been beautiful days.
Hopefully those lights will throw a little heat when they come on.
Does get the strike call there. (13-4). Just off the plate.
So he's falling behind Thomas here, 3-1.
Pardon me. Zerby did give up 3 earned in 5 1/3 innings. But still pitched really well nonetheless. And we will see, that should do it. That's the ball game, according to the umpire. Well, before we get out of here, Steve, as we get ready to transition over to game 2, I want to give a massive thank you to everybody out there, especially all of those seniors. And again, our sincerest apologies for the stream issues. We hope that they have been rectified, and we hope that game 2 will go off without a hitch. But, Steve, the Weis player of the game, how about Owen Zell? For the first time this season, the Weis Nightly News player of the game, 3 for 5, 3 RBIs, a run scored, just an all-around fantastic effort from the senior second baseman. Thoughts on Owen Zell's performance today?
Yeah, Owen was definitely in the midst of everything that was going on today, and it was a total team effort. But Owen is a spark plug that gets this team going from the top of the lineup, and he had a really good game here, so certainly deserving of the player of the game.
All right, well, we will call it for game number 1. We will be back here with you for game number 2 shortly, whenever that starts, usually about 20 to 25 minutes between games. We will see you on the flip side. For Paul Miller, for Steve Hassinger, this is the Nightly News. The Knights win game number 1, 14-4, with 4 runs in the 5th, 5 in the 6th, and Owen Zell, the Nightly News player of the game. Until next time.